The sunset over Atlanta painted the windshield of my black Cadillac Escalade ESV Platinum blood red as I turned on the live stream right from the driver's seat. The camera in front of me trembled slightly with my heartbeat. "Hey y'all, it's Cameron Brooks," I said, trying to keep my voice steady even though my throat was on fire. "This is the car I paid off in full exactly 14 days ago. Sticker price $105,000. I spent 6 years working 2 jobs, eating instant noodles, never going to bars, never taking a single vacation to own it. And today might be the last day I ever sit in it." I turned the camera toward the window. In the distance, the runway lights at Hartsfield-Jackson still blinked. Because my dad called me at 3 p.m. and said, "Lucas needs a family car. You're single, you can just Uber." He took the spare key I gave him for emergencies and drove off with it. No asking, no permission, just an announcement. "Call the cops, sis." "What the F is wrong with your dad?" "Girl, that's grand theft auto." I gave a thin smile, eyes stinging. "Exactly. And I'm about to do it." Cut. 6:42 p.m., Cumming, Georgia, north of Atlanta. Riley, my 17-year-old sister, high ponytail, North Forsyth hoodie, and I stepped out of an Uber. The autumn air was crisp, smelling of fresh-cut grass and someone's neighbor smoking brisket. But my parking spot was empty. All that remained was a perfect rectangular oil stain glistening under the motion light. The space where my Escalade had lived was now just a black hole in my chest. Riley stood frozen, backpack clutched to her chest. "Cam, Dad texted me at lunch and said, 'Don't tell your sister, this is men's business.'" The blood rushed in my ears. Men's business? Lucas has 2 DUIs, license suspended until next year, and owes bookies over 40 grand on college football. And now he needs a family car for his future? Riley looked down, voice barely a whisper. "Dad said if you didn't agree, they wouldn't pay for my college anymore. I only have 1 year left." I looked at her, at those blue eyes identical to mine, shimmering with fear and guilt. I took a deep breath. Somewhere, a fire pit burned oak leaves. I dropped my Michael Kors bag onto the concrete. The clatter of metal echoed in the quiet night. "Riley, listen to me." I grabbed her shoulders. "They've taken my childhood, my savings, my sleep for 6 straight years. Today, they want the last thing I have, but I'm not letting them take your future too." I pulled out my phone, opened the Cadillac app. The little green dot was doing 82 miles northbound on I-75, heading straight for the North Carolina line. Riley stared at the screen, eyes wide. "He's going Harris Cherokee?" "Yep, to relax before becoming a dad." I gave a bitter laugh, tears still rolling. "You want to keep being a puppet in this family?" Riley shook her head. First time in her life I saw her clench her jaw. "No." I hit 911, speaker on so both of us could hear. 911, what is your emergency? I inhaled, voice no longer shaking. "My name is Cameron Brooks. My 2023 Cadillac Escalade, Georgia plate, GEA 814, was just stolen from my driveway by my own father, Dale Brooks, and given to my brother Lucas Brooks, who has a suspended license due to 2 DUIs. I have real-time GPS and full documentation. I need an officer immediately." A 1-second silence on the line, then the female dispatcher's voice hardened. "Copy that, ma'am. Units are rolling. Stay on the line." I looked at Riley. She smiled through tears. "This time, we're not playing." I repeated the words I'd just thrown onto the concrete. And under the orange streetlights of a quiet Georgia suburb, my sister and I stood hand in hand, waiting for the first siren to tear through the night. Because for the first time, we chose ourselves. I sank onto the front porch steps, back against the peeling white column. Riley sat beside me, both of us staring at the oil stain like it was an open wound that hadn't stopped bleeding. The live stream was off, but I still felt thousands of eyes on me from phone screens. "Cam, can you tell me why you can't let this one go?" Riley whispered. I'm scared. I don't understand enough to stand with you." I gave a sad smile and nodded. She deserved the whole story. 6 years ago, I was 23, fresh out of the University of Georgia with a computer science degree and drowning in student loans. I moved to Atlanta, rented a 400-square-foot studio in Midtown where I had to close the bathroom door to open the fridge. Rent was $1,200 a month, starting salary was $52K a year. But I had a stupid dream. One day to sit behind the wheel of a real American luxury SUV, not some hand-me-down Civic or leased Corolla. I wanted something big, safe, and completely mine. I picked the Cadillac Escalade ESV Platinum, the one that made me feel bigger than myself every time I test drove it. To make the $1,650 monthly payment, I worked 3 jobs. 7:30 a.m., 5 p.m., coding at a fintech company. 6 p.m., 11 p.m., weekend waitress at a Buckhead steakhouse. 2 a.m., 5 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays, freelance UX on Upwork. I ate instant noodles with boiled eggs for 3 straight years. On my 25th birthday, I treated myself to a Chick-fil-A spicy sandwich and cried in the parking lot because it was the most extravagant meal that month. Friends went to Coachella, Tulum. I stayed home refreshing my banking app to make sure the payment posted on time. Every time I drove my rattling 2008 Civic past 50 miles per hour, I told myself, 47 payments left, 36 left, 18 left. Until one beautiful day in October last year, I hit pay off loan and watched the balance hit $0. I screamed in the office so loud, my coworkers thought I'd won the lottery. That Escalade wasn't just a car. It was living proof that a girl from East Georgia with no family money could still stand tall. Riley fiddled with her shoelaces. "I knew you suffered, but I was forced to stay quiet too." Her voice cracked as she told me. When she was 10, Lucas smashed the 65-inch TV because he lost a bet on Georgia-Alabama. Dad made her tell Mom it was her fault. When she was 13, Lucas took every dollar of her birthday money to pay his bookie. Mom said, "Girls don't need savings. Your future husband will provide." Last year, our parents told me if I didn't give Lucas $8,000 to invest in Super Bowl ticket resale, they'd stop paying Riley's college. I sent the money. Riley had to watch in silence while my accounts were drained. "I'm terrified," Riley said, tears splashing onto her hoodie. "If you fight this, they really will cut my college fund. I only have 1 year left. I don't want to end up at community college doing nails like Aunt Linda." I pulled her into the tightest hug. Her strawberry shampoo brought back memories of myself at 17, terrified, blackmailed the exact same way. "Listen to me," I whispered into her hair. "They've used your college money to control me for years. Now they're using my car to control both of us. If we fold tonight, they'll keep taking tomorrow. So we stop it tonight. We fight back for both of us." Riley looked up, eyes red but burning with something I'd never seen in her before, fire. "You sure, Cam?" I nodded and opened the Cadillac OnStar app again. The blue dot was now doing 85 miles north of Marietta, still climbing. "More sure than Georgia losing to Alabama this year." Riley laughed through her tears. The first laugh of the night. We both stared at the screen. The dot hit 87, 89. "Damn," Riley breathed. "He's headed to Harris Cherokee, 2 hours flat." I zoomed in. The red line cut through my heart like a knife. Lucas wasn't taking Jessica to prenatal appointments. He was racing my paid-off Escalade up the interstate. No license, no valid insurance, and almost certainly high. Riley squeezed my hand. "Cam, what do we do now?" I stood, pulling her up with me. We stood in the front yard, hair whipping in the wind like we were in some low-budget action movie trailer, but this was real. "We call 911, I said, "right now." Riley blinked. "You're actually doing it?" "Watch me." I dialed, speaker on. Riley leaned in close. 911, what is your emergency?" Calm female voice. My heart hammered so hard I thought it might crack a rib. I inhaled, voice trembling but unbroken. "My name is Cameron Brooks, address 214 Willow Creek Lane, Cumming, Georgia. My 2023 Cadillac Escalade ESV Platinum, Georgia plate GEA 814, Black Raven exterior was stolen from my driveway approximately 3 hours ago by my father, Dale Brooks, and is now being driven by my brother, Lucas Brooks, who has a suspended license due to 2 prior DUIs. I have real-time GPS through OnStar showing the vehicle traveling 89 miles per hour northbound on I-75, currently passing mile marker 318, heading toward the North Carolina state line. I am the sole owner on the title. I need immediate assistance." 2 seconds of silence, long enough for me to think I might pass out. "Copy that, Miss Brooks," the dispatcher's voice sharpened. "You said suspended license and high speed?" "Yes, ma'am." Suspended until March 2025. Multiple prior convictions. And the driver is likely impaired. I'm dispatching Georgia State Patrol and Forsyth County units right now. Do you feel safe at your location? I looked at Riley. She nodded frantically, eyes shining. "Yes, we're in the front yard. No one else is home." "Stay visible, stay on the line. Troopers will be there in 4 minutes. I'm pinging the vehicle now." I took it off speaker, but kept the phone to my ear. Riley threw her arms around me, no longer shaking. "Kim, we just did it," she whispered. "Yeah," I answered, hearing my heartbeat sync with the approaching sirens. And there's no turning back now. Blue and red lights began flashing at the end of Willow Creek Lane. 2 white and blue Dodge Chargers turned in, tires screeching to a stop in front of the house. A tall, black female trooper with her hair in a tight bun stepped out first, hand resting on her holster but eyes gentle. "Cameron Brooks?" "Yes, ma'am." She nodded, voice warm Southern but firm. "We've got your vehicle doing 90 on the interstate. We're taking over from here. You did the right thing." I looked at Riley. She smiled, no tears this time. 4 minutes earlier, we were 2 girls terrorized by family our whole lives. 4 minutes later, we were official complainants in a felony grand theft auto case across state lines. And no matter how this ended, tonight we had chosen the right side of our family history, the side of freedom. 2 white and blue Georgia State Patrol Dodge Chargers stopped dead in front of the house, light bars painting the white brick walls like a hellish disco. Doors opened in unison. 2 female troopers stepped out, fast but calm, the kind of calm that has seen every version of Georgia family drama. Lead was Trooper Jackson, black, mid-40s, hair in a perfect bun, gold badge gleaming. Second was Trooper Hayes, white, younger, blue eyes sharp as razors. "Miss Cameron Brooks?" Jackson asked, pure Atlanta in her voice. "Yes, ma'am, and this is my sister Riley." Jackson gave Riley a soft nod, eyes softening when she saw the 17-year-old trembling. "We got the OnStar ping. Your Escalade is doing 92 north of Calhoun right now. Let's get this documented fast." They walked us to the porch, flipped on flashlights, and took statements right there on the steps. I pulled my mini iPad from my bag, everything ready. Title: In the name of Cameron Grace Brooks only. Registered 11/20/21. Loan payoff letter from Alley Financial dated October 18. Balance $0.00. Photo of the spare key in an envelope labeled "For Dad, Emergency Only," dated 3/20/22. Zelle screenshots of $8,400 sent last year. Memo, Lucas Business, final time. Audio file of the 911 call from 7 minutes ago. Trooper Hayes let out a low whistle when she saw the title. Clean title, paid in full, no lien. That makes this real simple. Jackson didn't smile. She looked me dead in the eye. Your brother, Lucas Brooks, license status. Suspended March 2023 through March 2025. 2 DUIs, 1 with injury. I have the records if you need. Hayes typed into the laptop mounted in the car, then looked up grim-faced. Confirmed. DL status 9, suspended, ineligible, and he's doing 94 in a 70 right now. Jackson exhaled long and slow, the sigh of a mother who has seen too many small-town golden boys die drunk. Ma'am, she said slowly, this just went from civil family dispute to felony pursuit. Grand theft auto over $100K, driving while license suspended with priors, reckless conduct, possible fleeing across state lines, mandatory arrest, no bond hearing tonight. Riley let out a tiny sob. I squeezed her hand so hard it hurt. Jackson turned to me, voice low but certain. We can attempt a traffic stop, but at this speed and with his history, it's safer to box him in at the casino valet. Problem is, we need positive ID on vehicle and driver. You got live tracking? Yes, ma'am. OnStar live feed, updates every 5 seconds. Jackson and Hayes exchanged a look. Hayes shrugged. Let's do it. Miss Brooks, we're gonna need you to ride with us. You're not in custody. You're our complainant and GPS operator. Riley, you can ride in the second unit with Trooper Hayes if you want to stay together. Riley's grip bruised my fingers. I'm going with my sister. Jackson opened the back door of the lead Charger, then paused and opened the front instead. You're not a suspect. Front seat. I slid in. Smell of new leather and old coffee hit me. Riley and Hayes took the second car. Troop B-14 en route to intercept black 2023 Cadillac Escalade, Georgia tag GEA 814, northbound I-75, current speed 96, driver Lucas Brooks, suspended license, 2 prior DUIs, complainant riding with, real-time OnStar tracking active, requesting backup from Catoosa and Whitfield units, possible state line handoff. Dispatch crackled back. 10-4 B-14, air support standing by if needed. Jackson glanced at me. You okay? I nodded, hands still shaking. Just get my car back without anyone dying, please. Copy that. She floored it out of the neighborhood, lights flashing, siren whooping in short bursts. Riley texted nonstop from the follow car. I'm scared, Cam, but I'm proud of you. I typed back one line. I'm proud of you too. Tonight we grew up. Jackson hit 110 miles per hour on the empty interstate, wind screaming through the vents. My OnStar screen blinked. Vehicle just took exit 320 toward East Ellijay, 28 minutes to Harris Cherokee. Trooper Jackson glanced over, voice calm as death. Hold on tight, Miss Brooks. We're going hunting. And I knew, right then, Georgia law was moving faster than the Escalade I'd bled 6 years to buy. For the first time in my life, I wasn't alone. Harris Cherokee Casino, North Carolina, 9:47 p.m. Neon red and purple bled across the massive glass facade, slot machines screaming like a hive of broke bees. The valet area blazed like Friday night lights. My black Escalade ESV Platinum was parked crooked across 2 spaces, nose pointed at a light pole like the driver had dropped out of the sky. Lucas leaned against the driver door, faded Falcons #7 jersey, Marlboro Red in hand, bragging to 3 greasy-haired buddies. Yo, this bitch got the 6.2 V8, 420 horse, bro. Massage seats, 38 speaker AKG, I'm telling you, my old man hooked me up big time. The group howled. One of them was live streaming on Instagram, camera shaking. That's when 4 patrol units, 2 Georgia, 2 Cherokee Tribal, slammed into the valley circle, light bars strobing.
Trooper Jackson stepped out first, hand on her Glock, voice booming like a stadium PA. "Lucas Dale Brooks, step away from the vehicle, hands where I can see them, now." Lucas smirked, still riding the small-town legend high. "Relax, officer. My daddy gave me this car. It's a family thing." Jackson didn't answer. She advanced. Hayes and the two tribal officers fanned out in a U. I stepped out of the patrol car. Neon washed cold over my face. Lucas saw me. His face went ghost white for half a second, then pure rage. "Cam, the fuck you doing here? You called the cops on your own brother?" I walked forward until I was 3 steps away, close enough to smell the Bud Light and cigarette on him. "Your daddy stole it from me, Lucas. I paid for every bolt on that car. You're driving it with no license, no insurance, and probably high as hell." His buddies started backing up, but the one streaming kept his phone up, eyes gleaming. "World Star!" Lucas thrashed, pointing in my face. "You jealous bitch! You always hated that I'm the favorite. Dad said this is for my kid, for my family." Trooper Jackson grabbed his wrist, spun him, cuffs clicking cold and final. Lucas screamed like a stuck pig. "Get the fuck off me! This is my car! Dad said it's mine!" Hayes opened the Escalade door. Weed, cheap cologne, and despair poured out. On the passenger seat, a plastic bag with 6 White Claw cans and an unlabeled bottle of Percocet 10 milligrams. "Miss Brooks, please confirm this is your vehicle." I walked up, laid my hand on the still hot hood. "Yes, ma'am. VIN ends in 4721. That's my baby." Lucas was slammed face down on the patrol car hood, still howling. "Cam, you're dead to us. You hear me? Dead." I leaned down to the window, looked him dead in the eye. "No, Lucas. Tonight, you're the one who just died to me." The kid streaming screamed, "Ayo, this shit going viral." Phones up high, cameras catching Lucas thrashing in cuffs, me standing tall beside my Escalade, neon reflecting in my eyes. 28 minutes later, the clip hit World Star Hip Hop, titled, "Georgia Golden Boy Gets Smoked by Big Sis After Stealing Her 105K Escalade, LOL." 2 hours later, 4.7 million views. Hashtag Brooks Siblings trending top 10 nationwide. And I stood there in the chaos of the valet circle, mountain wind cutting cold, hands still on the hood like I was comforting someone who'd just been rescued. Trooper Jackson patted my shoulder. "We'll tow it to impound tonight, but you'll get her back in a few days. You did good, kid." I nodded, tears falling but mouth smiling. Riley ran up from the second car and tackled me in a hug among the flashing lights. "Cam, the video is everywhere," she whispered, half crying, half laughing. I looked up at the star-drenched North Carolina sky and whispered, "Good. Let the whole world know the Brooks family isn't allowed to bully anyone anymore." And as the final handcuff clicked behind Lucas's back, I knew, no matter what I lost tonight, I had won. One for myself, one for Riley. And one for the 23-year-old girl who once ate instant noodles in a 400-square-foot apartment, dreaming of the day she could drive this car without bowing to anyone. 11:18 p.m., Motel 6 off I-575 near Woodstock. Riley was passed out on the other double bed, hoodie pulled over her head, phone still clutched in her hand. I sat against the wall, dim lamp glowing yellow, my phone screen blazing with 147 missed calls and 89 texts. "Mom on call 23. I answered, speaker on so the whole room could hear. Tammy Brooks, my mother, sobbing like she was drowning. "Cameron Grace, do you have any idea what you just did? Lucas is sitting in Cherokee County Jail because of you. He called here crying, saying his own big sister had him arrested. Pastor Harris is praying for your soul in our living room right now." I stayed silent. Just listen to her, hiccup, sob, nose blowing, and Dad growling in the background. Have you no humanity? He's about to be a father. Jessica is 7 months pregnant with my grandson. You want that baby born with his daddy in jail? I inhaled, voice ice cold. Jessica's right here with me, Mom. She just cried her eyes out realizing Lucas was using her rent money to gamble. She's choosing to go back to Nashville to her sister instead of staying with this family. Dead silence on the line. Then Mom shrieked. You're lying! Jessica loves Lucas. She's carrying Brooks' blood. I gave a dry laugh. Blood that drives without a license, high on Percocet, 96 miles per hour on the interstate with an unborn baby in the car? You want your grandson dead too? Mom choked. Then the phone was yanked away. Dad's voice, hoarse from beer and fury. Cameron, you listen to me. He roared every word like he was still coaching on Friday night. I already called the family lawyer. You will drop the charges. You will tell the police it was a misunderstanding. If you don't, I swear on Jesus and the Georgia flag, you are no longer my daughter. I will erase your name from the will, from family photos, from everything. You will be dead to this family. Understand? The motel room was dead quiet. Riley woke with a start, eyes wide with fear. I looked at her, then out the window where interstate lights still blinked. I spoke slow, clear, every syllable carved in the air. Good. Because this family was dead to me the second y'all decided his name mattered more than mine on something I bled 6 years to earn. Silence like death. I kept going, no room for interruption. Y'all took my childhood savings. Y'all took my college fund to bail him out the first DUI. Y'all took $8,000 last year so he could start a business that turned out to be DraftKings. And tonight, y'all took the one thing I built with my own hands, my own tears, my own sleepless nights. So yes, Dad, disown me. Do it on Facebook if you want. I'll sleep better knowing I'm no longer property of the Brooks family plantation. Dad wheezed like he was having a stroke. You ungrateful! You'll die alone. No husband, no kids, no family. I laughed, this time for real. Better alone than a slave to an addict and 2 parents who live off their daughter's blood. Then I hung up. The room fell into perfect silence. Riley stared at me, eyes shining. Cam, you really just said that? Every word. I opened messages, blocked Dad, Mom, every aunt, uncle, cousin spamming shame on you. Riley threw her arms around me. No more tears, just whispering, I love you. And I'm prouder of you than anyone on this planet. Outside the window, a semi roared past, headlights sweeping the room for a second. I knew from now on, every time headlights flashed across my face, I would no longer flinch, because I had officially died in the eyes of the Brooks family. But Cameron Grace Brooks, the free woman, had just been born. The next morning, 7:12 a.m., Perk Coffee Shop, Midtown Atlanta. I sat across from Harper Newen, my freshman dorm mate from UGA, now an insurance defense attorney and my best friend. Harper in a gray suit, pixie cut sharp, eyes still lethal from the nights we pulled all-nighters for finals. On the table, her MacBook and a 2-inch stack of documents I printed of FedEx last night. Cam, sit down, Harper said without looking up. You just opened the biggest can of worms in the state of Georgia. She spun the screen toward me. Item 1. Accident report dated September 28, 2023, 2018 Chevy Suburban registered to Tammy Brooks. Driver, Lucas Dale Brooks, license already suspended. Location, crashed into a barrier on GA 400 at 2:14 a.m. Damage, $38,400, totaled. State Farm report, mechanical failure, sudden brake loss. but the scene photos Harper pulled from internal systems showed no skid marks, overwhelming smell of alcohol. "This is straight-up fraud," Harper tapped her pen. "Your parents hid the Suburban in Uncle Mike's barn and ball ground, never reported properly, planning to collect mechanical money to fix or replace. If discovered, criminal charges plus triple damages." I swallowed hard. "There's more." Harper scrolled to file 2, mortgage on 214 Willow Creek Lane. Wells Fargo notice of default dated October 12, 2023. Reason, 11 consecutive missed payments, total past due $47,800. Foreclosure sale scheduled January 7, 2025, 58 days away. Harper looked at me, pity and rage mixed. "Cam, listen close. If Lucas had crashed your Escalade, even a scratch, State Farm would investigate. They'd see Lucas as an excluded driver on every Brooks policy since 2023. Then, insurance denies everything. You lose your $105K car plus pay for the other guy's damages. They sue you for negligent entrustment because you knew he had no license. And most important, your parents plan to use your car as their last-ditch save for the house. Let Lucas drive it, crash it, claim family misunderstanding, force you to pay or sell the car to cover." I felt like I'd been punched in the sternum. They were going to use me as collateral one final time to save the house they lost gambling? Harper nodded, slid me a cold brew. "Exactly. I already sent an anonymous tip to the State Farm investigator this morning. They'll open a file within 48 hours. Your parents are about to get a very unfriendly letter." I gripped the cup so hard, coffee sloshed. Harper put her hand over mine. "Cam, you didn't just save your car. You saved yourself from being dragged to the bottom with them forever." I texted Riley immediately. Me. "Baby, the house is really going into foreclosure because of Dad's gambling." Riley, typing instantly. "WTF? Are you serious?" Me. "Dead serious. And they were going to use my car to cover it one last time." Riley sent a crying sticker, followed by, "Good riddance." Harper smirked, kept typing. "Bonus round. I just pulled your dad's DraftKings and FanDuel records via fast subpoena. Total losses $112,400 in 18 months. Every dime of retirement, grandma's land sale, money you and I sent home to help the family, gone." I stared out the window at morning Atlanta traffic. Suddenly, everything was painfully clear. They didn't just take my car. They took my youth, Riley's dreams, and were willing to take an unborn grandchild's future to keep up the facade of the perfect Southern family rotting from the inside. I stood, zipped my jacket. "Harper, please help me finish this. I want them to pay every single penny." Harper grinned, the real one this time. "With pleasure, babe. They messed with the wrong Georgia girl." I stepped outside into early sunlight. For the first time in 29 years, I felt relief at the thought of losing that house. Because that house was never home. It was just a white-painted prison with a picket fence. And today, I broke out. Sunday, 10:42 a.m., First Baptist Coming, Fellowship Hall behind the sanctuary. Smelled like old Folgers and Sunday best perfume. 24 relatives sat in a circle of folding chairs, aunts, uncles, cousins, and in the middle, Pastor Harris in his shiny gray suit, holding his Bible like a gavel. Dad sat in the head chair, face red from no sleep and last night's beer. Mom beside him, eyes swollen, clutching a wadded tissue. Lucas hadn't made bond yet, so his seat was empty except for his high school graduation photo. Riley and I walked in deliberately 10 minutes late. I wore my black work suit. Riley wore her North Forsyth hoodie and ripped jeans. We each carried 3 2-inch binders closed with metal clasps. The room went dead silent when we entered. Only the ceiling fan clicked. Pastor Harris stood, syrupy Georgia voice.
Cameron, Riley, thank you for coming. We're here to pray and heal. Family is sacred, the Lord teaches. I didn't let him finish. I walked to the center, dropped the 6 binders on the oak coffee cable, boom, 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 like 6 small bombs. We didn't come to pray, I said, voice carrying to every corner. We came for the truth. Riley stood beside me. First time in her life she didn't lower her head. She placed her hand on the final binder. Dad roared, "Sit down right now. What are you doing in front of God?" I opened binder 1, pulled out photos of the totaled Suburban hidden in Uncle Mike's barn. Binder 1, September 28 crash. Y'all told insurance was mechanical failure. Reality, Lucas drunk, no skid marks, slammed the barrier. Here are the scene photos and police reports y'all buried. The room gasped.
Aunt Linda's mouth fell open. Binder 2, Wells Fargo statements. Binder 2, the house is 58 days from foreclosure sale. Dad lost $112K gambling in 18 months. Retirement money, grandma's land, money Riley and I sent home. Mom wailed, "You ungrateful!" Binders 3, 4, 5, DUI records, gambling receipts, insurance exclusions. And the final binder, Riley opened it herself, voice shaking but clear. Binder 6, every text Dad sent me from age 13 until now. Stay quiet or no college. If your sister doesn't pay, you're done. Every single time y'all used my future to control us. Riley slammed the binder shut, bang, like a gunshot. She looked straight at our parents, first time ever using y'all to their faces. Y'all told me if I didn't stay quiet, I'd lose college money. Well, guess what? I'm done being quiet. Jessica, Lucas's 7 months pregnant girlfriend, sat in the corner, hand on her belly, face pale from the first binder. She stood slowly, tears streaming but voice steel. I've heard enough. Lucas lied about everything. The car, the money, the family support. I'm not raising my son around liars, gamblers, and thieves. She turned to me. Cam, can you give me a ride to Nashville tonight? My sister's waiting. I nodded. Right now if you want. Mom lunged, trying to grab Jessica's legs. Baby, don't go. That's my grandson. Jessica shook her off and screamed, the first time I ever heard her raise her voice. That baby is mine, not y'all's bargaining chip. Pastor Harris tried. The Lord teaches forgiveness. I looked him dead in the eye, cold smile. The Lord also teaches don't lie, don't steal, and don't hold your own children hostage. This church has seen enough today. I took Riley's and Jessica's hands. 3 women walked out of that fellowship hall while the entire bloodline sat frozen. The door closed behind us. I heard Mom screaming, Dad pounding the table, Pastor Harris stammering prayers. But no one followed. We stepped into November Georgia sunshine. Cold wind, light hearts. Riley whispered, Cam, we just burned the bridge. I smiled, opened the doors of the rental Camry. No, baby, we just escaped a prison. And as the tires rolled toward Nashville, I knew today wasn't the day I lost my old family. It was the day I found my real one. Riley, Jessica, and the baby about to be born. People who chose truth over toxic blood. 11:47 p.m., I-75 North turning onto I-24 West, bound for Nashville. The silver rental Camry cut through the night, only headlights and cold moonlight illuminating 3 women fleeing the same family. I drove. Riley rode shotgun, feet on the dash, AirPods in but no music, just staring at the road. Jessica in the back, hand on her 31-week belly, eyes puffy but no more tears, just the occasional sigh. 40 minutes of silence,
Only tire hum and the radio playing low, Chris Stapleton's Tennessee whiskey. Jessica spoke first, voice raw. He told me the Escalade was a gift from his rich sister who didn't need it. Said you were some corporate ice queen making six figures and didn't want kids anyway, so the car was just sitting there. I believed him, Cam. I feel so stupid. I glanced at her in the rear view. Passing headlights lit her face, then left it dark again. You're not stupid, I said. You were pregnant and in love. That's exactly what they were counting on. Riley turned, handed Jessica a cold bottle of water. That's what they told me about my college fund too, she said, strangely calm. Every time I asked why Lucas got a new truck at 19 and I had to beg for $200 for textbooks, Dad said, "Your sister makes big money in Atlanta. She'll take care of you. Just be patient." I was 12 the first time I heard that sentence. Jessica took the water, hands trembling. I thought I was joining a family. Turns out I was just the next ATM. I flipped the turn signal, past a logging truck. Cold air slipped through the cracked window. Tonight, we stop the cycle, I said, not loud, but loud enough for the whole car. No more daughters paying for sons' mistakes. No more babies used as bargaining chips. No more silence. Riley pulled out her AirPods, turned all the way around to face Jessica. You know what hurt me the most today? She asked. Not the foreclosure, not the lies. It was when Mom screamed at you, "That's my grandson," like he already belonged to her, like you were just an incubator. Jessica nodded slowly, fresh tears but silent. I felt it, she whispered. The second I said I was leaving, her eyes went straight to my belly, not to me. Riley reached back, took Jessica's hand. Jessica squeezed tight. I checked the GPS, 147 miles to Nashville, about 2 hours 10 minutes. Jess, when we get there, Harper already booked you an Airbnb room near your sister. Tomorrow, we'll find you an OBGYN that takes Medicaid, no questions asked. You don't owe the Brooks a single text. Jessica gave a sad smile. I blocked him on everything the second we left the church parking lot. Riley barked a laugh. Same. Mom, Dad, Aunt Linda, and the church prayer chain group chat. 47 people in 0 seconds. The whole car cracked up, the first real laugh of the night. Between Chattanooga and Monteagle, the road went pitch black. I turned the high beams on full, the mountain curves twisting, pine forests thick on both sides. Riley rolled her window all the way down, wind whipping her hair wild. You know what I just realized? She yelled over the roar. I'm 17 and I've never been this far from coming without Mom or Dad in the car. This is the first road trip of my life that's actually mine. Jessica laughed from the back. Mine too, and I'm 24. I looked at both of them in the rear view, faces glowing soft green from the dashboard. Then let this be the first of many, I said. From tonight on, we only drive forward, no looking back. Just past 2 a.m., we stopped at a truck stop near Manchester, Tennessee. All three of us got out, stood in the freezing parking lot, breathing free air. Riley threw her arms wide and screamed into the darkness. I'm never letting anyone use my future as a bargaining chip again. Jessica followed, hand on belly, voice bigger. And this baby will have a mother, not a hostage. I stood between them, arms around both, and yelled last, and I'm done setting myself on fire to keep people warm who keep handing me the matches. Our voices echoed through the Tennessee woods, carried away by the wind, but I knew those words would never disappear. 3:42 a.m., we pulled up to a small house in East Nashville. Jessica's sister Brittany waited on the porch in pajamas, ran out and held her sobbing sister. Before Jessica walked inside, she turned and hugged me so hard I felt the baby kick. Thank you for giving me my son back before he was even born. Riley and I watched the house lights until the door closed. On the way to the hotel, Riley said, quiet but certain, "Cam, I'm writing my college essay about tonight. Title, How I Learned to Stop Being the Good Daughter and Started Being a Free Woman." I laughed, the first real laugh from my soul in days. Write it, baby, and get that full ride to whatever school you want. I got you. And as the sun rose over I-40 at 6 a.m., I knew the 29-year chain had officially snapped. We were no longer the Brooks girls. We were Cameron, Riley, and Jessica, 3 free women on the same road. And that road only went forward. 4 months later, March, Atlanta bursting with pink dogwoods. I stood on the balcony of our new Virginia Highland townhouse, watching Japanese cherry trees bloom below. 3 bedrooms, red brick, big windows, lease in the names Cameron Grace Brooks and Riley Mae Brooks only. Lucas was sentenced Tuesday. 18 months probation, 200 hours community service, mandatory 12-month rehab at Maranatha Center in Dalton. He wears an ankle monitor and is banned from Harris Cherokee for 5 years. The judge also ordered him to repay me $18,400 for towing, detailing, and rental car costs. He doesn't have it, but I don't care. I just needed him to never drive anyone's car again. The old house in Cummings sold at auction last week. Mom and Dad moved to a 1-bedroom apartment in Gainesville, living on Social Security and food stamps. State Farm officially denied the suburban claim and is suing Tammy Brooks for insurance fraud. Harper says Mom will probably get probation. Dad might do short jail time for signing the false forms. They don't call me anymore. I don't call them. Riley is different now, almost 5 centimeters taller, bob haircut, rocking a brand new Vanderbilt gold hoodie. Her essay, Breaking the Golden Child Curse, earned her a full-ride Commodore scholarship. 4 years, room, board, books, everything. She moves into her dorm in August. I cried opening that thick envelope. The first time in 29 years I cried from pure joy. Jessica gave birth to a healthy boy last week, named him Jonah Riley. She used my sister's name as middle to remember the night we ran. She and Jonah live with her sister in Nashville. She works front desk at a dental office, smiles more, sleeps better. Lucas has never met his son, and Jessica says he won't until he proves he's a father, not a burden. And me. This afternoon, I drove my freshly detailed black Escalade down I-85 South toward the airport just to drive. Sunroof wide open, March wind whipping my hair, Tyler Childers blasting from all 38 AKG speakers. I recall something that's seldom said. You don't have to be blood to be family. I propped my phone on the dash, hit record one last time for the series that now has over 27 million views across TikTok and YouTube. Hey y'all, it's Cameron Brooks, the woman who lost a brother, both birth parents, half her extended family, and her childhood home in 4 months. But I kept the little sister I love more than life, kept the future I built myself, and kept the car I paid for with 6 years of blood and sweat. I learned one thing. Family isn't where you were born. Family is where you're allowed to be yourself without paying for it in blood, sweat, or tears. If you're watching this and you feel like you're burning yourself alive to keep others warm, especially the ones who keep handing you the matches, listen to me. Stop, let go, run, and never look back. Because sometimes the bravest thing isn't forgiveness, it's choosing yourself. I stopped recording, let go of the wheel for 1 second to wipe my eyes, then gripped that leather steering wheel that still smelled brand new. The sun set behind the Atlanta skyline, painting the sky Georgia bulldog orange. The Escalade flew down the interstate at 80 miles per hour, smooth as a healed animal that finally knows it's free. I turned Tyler Childers up until the bass rattled my ribs and sang at the top of my lungs. Well, my heart is sweating like a feathered Indian, but I ain't looking back. Wind tearing through my hair, tears flying backward into the air.
And I knew, from this mile forward, every single one belonged to me. No one would ever take them again. Fade out on the black Escalade streaking into the sunset, Georgia plate GEA 814 glowing under the last rays of the day, leaving behind a thin white trail like a final goodbye to everything I used to be.